So great to see everyone. All right, so it's 5:01. I'm sure people will trickle in for another couple minutes, but we will start with some introductions. So you will they'll have a few minutes to get gathered. So it's great to see so many of y'all. We were really excited. There was a lot of interest in tonight's meeting and in getting to know Thriving Faith Communities. So yeah, we're really excited to have our kickoff meeting, much anticipated. So thank you for being a part of that and joining. Just as a general reminder, we are going to record this session and the slides will be available. And I am actually going to go ahead right now and link all of the links that I'll be sharing tonight. And that includes the slides. So know that you are not going to miss anything you need. And let me just start. We have an AI companion request. I'm just going to get that started. All right. So welcome. I am honored to have you. This event is hosted by Faith in Place, which I'm sure you know. We are Faith in Place and the Faith in Place Action Fund, and we are two organizations that work hand in hand with communities of faith and spirituality to advance environmental justice and build healthier communities. So tonight, there will be three of us sharing about this program. So I am Elena. I am Faith in Place's Deputy Director, and I've been supporting the revamp of our Thriving Faith Communities meeting, or our Thriving Faith Communities program. So I'll be speaking part of the night, and then the other part, Raymond Bell, our Director of Programs, will be sharing details on the program and providing a lot of what you can expect. And we also, very excitingly, have Ray Wilson, who will be sharing. And Ray, we can do another round of celebrations for Ray Wilson, who got this year's Faith in Place Volunteer of the Year award, and was honored for creating this exact program during our Green Team Summit. So Ray will also be sharing some and is on the call tonight. So all that you are seeing and that we are sharing started in Ray's mind and got to this point through his leadership and imagination and expertise. So we're super grateful for that. All right. So tonight's agenda, this is what we're going to go through tonight. We have an hour together, but just know that this is kind of like we're laying the foundation. If you were at our monthly call last month or our Green Team session, you might be familiar with pieces of what we're going to be sharing, but hoping to provide a little bit more detail about the specifics of what you can expect in this program, and also let people go ahead and sign up if you're ready, or make a plan to sign up if you want. And we'll have time for Q&A towards the end as well. So you are welcome to hold questions, and hopefully we'll have time to get to as many of those as possible. All right, but to get everyone tuned in, mine's running. We will start with a energy trivia game. It's super short, but let me just launch this. And if you would like to quiz yourself on some trivia knowledge, you should see a quiz in front of you. This is anonymous, so you can just take guesses. There's 4 questions, so I'm just going to pause for a minute and let everyone get warmed up by answering these trivia questions. Answers coming in. Everyone another minute. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and end the poll. Just looking at the answers. Awesome job. I'll share the results. So, the first question was, what percent of energy used in typical house of worship in the US is consumed by heating and cooling? The answer is 50 to 60%. So, way to go. The 26% of y'all that answered, I would not have known that if I hadn't looked up the answer. So, good guess. An average worship facility can save up to what percent on energy through no cost action, strategic investment, and smart operations and maintenance? And the answer to that is 30%. So that is an exciting savings. And then, which major US city is home to the most Energy Star certified buildings? And y'all were also correct on this, Los Angeles. Way to go. And then 100% of y'all answered the last question correctly. So, are you able to stack combine Inflation Reduction Act incentives like rebates and tax deductions? And yes, they, in fact, were designed to be stacked to drive down upfront costs. So, way to go, everyone. And we will continue on. Let me just close the poll. All right. Okay, so tonight is all about the Thriving Faith Communities program. We're sharing a little bit more in depth what you can expect so you can get a sense if your house of worship would be a good fit for the program. And also get to hear a little bit about what your top priorities and concerns are so that we can tailor our upcoming meetings to bring in experts and resources specific to the types of projects that you are working on. So, the goal of the Thriving Faith Communities program is to create a well resourced network of faith based communities working together to address the climate crisis by increasing energy efficiency and decreasing reliance on fossil fuels at their house of worship. So, this is the goal. Faith in Place works in Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin. So the program will specifically be supporting faith-based communities and houses of worship in those 3 states. And this, the program components, if you were at the monthly meeting, this might look familiar. So we have 3 components of this program. The first is that all the program members will be receiving a coach, a Faith in Place coach that's trained to support houses of worship make goals related to energy savings or transitioning to renewable energy and be a conduit of resources and expertise, connecting you to other houses of worship that have had similar successes or resources that Faith in Place has. So that coaching will be a really key component of the program and offer, monthly personalized support that will help you dive into whatever your goals are. And we'll also have a community resource bank. And when you sign up for the program, the resource bank, you'll be given immediate access to it. And this resource bank will be kind of continuously added to and refined as we grow the program. So there'll be 2 parts of the resource bank. One will be Faith in Place shared resources. So that will include webinars and websites and workbooks, case studies, all different types of example resources that could be helpful in supporting you achieve energy goals at your houses of worship. And there's also a second section of the resource bank where any member of the Thriving Faith Communities program can submit resources. Meaning, if you work with an expert contractor that you really had a great experience with, you can recommend them, and other houses of worship in your area can look and see if anyone is doing similar work and who they're recommended. So, and not only expert contractors, but if you find any type of tool or resource that has been helpful, you'll be able to share that on the resource bank. And we're hoping, because so many things related to this energy work are often from, referrals or getting to know specific communities and who's working in the community, that element of the resource bank will be really supportive to the members. And then the last part will be the quarterly meetings. So all the members of the Thriving Faith Community program will be invited to join quarterly meetings. And those meetings will have two components. One component will be Faith in Place will invite experts that have expertise in areas that are of interest for the members. So, for example, if people are very interested in understanding how to get a building ready for winter, we could have an expert on that, an expert on energy audits, on understanding federal rebates and incentives. All of that, depending on the interest expressed by the community members, will decide on what type of experts we invite to share. And then the second part of those quarterly meetings will be breakout rooms in which the cohort member or the program members will be able to connect with others doing similar work. So the breakout rooms will be based on kind of the interest of that program member, and similar goals will be placed together so you can troubleshoot, you can brainstorm, you can ask questions and get to know what other houses of worship doing very similar work that you're doing are going through, and figure out solutions together. So we're hoping these different elements kind of layer support by providing you that personalized coaching, expert support, and then also getting to know others and having that relationship support with other houses of worship. So I'm sure a lot of this is intuitive, especially if you're on this call, but there's lots of benefits for doing this type of energy work for communities of faith, many more than are listed here. But I think a big one, an obvious one, would be financial savings from utility bills. And you'll be able to have additional support in accessing federal and local grants to kind of amplify the financial savings possible. It's a great way to become a leader in your environment, have a building that feels more comfortable during different seasons. There's so many benefits. I would be curious as we go along to hear what the program members are finding beneficial, so we can touch base about that and share as the program continues to develop. So that's a little of the stage setting. And with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to Ray Bell, our Director of Programs. And Ray is going to walk us through the specifics of what you can expect after you join the program.
I got to unmute myself. I'm sorry. Okay. What you can expect? You can expect to join a community of like-minded people that are looking to learn a lot about energy and about their congregation and how they can save money, how they can reduce their energy consumption, how they can reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. You'll be able to talk about a lot of things in your congregation and talk to other people. You'll get to talk to a lot of experts and get a lot of information on things you can do in your congregation. So next slide, please. One of the first things we're going to do is we're going to give you a coach, and the coach is going to help you create goals and action plans for your green team based energy goals. I mean, some of the goals you can be setting, like you want to reduce 5%, 10%, 15 or 20% of your energy costs and energy consumption. You might want to say, I want to replace all the old lighting in there. You don't know how much old lighting actually can reduce your energy consumption. You might be looking at now the replacing your old furnaces or your old AC, and how do I do that? How do I replace that? And what's the best thing to do, the best technology available to me now, so you will get experts on that and other congregations that have just went through that or are going through it. Some of the goals you can be setting would be weatherization. We'll talk about that. We have experts that will come in and talk about weatherization, and of course, again, reducing the greenhouse uh, emissions. These goals can be refined and added after you conduct an energy audit. We'll talk about energy audits later on. And you may already have an energy audit, or you may have some goals right now that you want to set before you have an energy audit that your coach can help you with. Next slide, please. The next thing is benchmarking. So the first step to actually saving energy at your building is to benchmark. That is to measure and compare your building's energy to similar buildings, past consumptions, or reference to a performance level. Benchmarking actually turns information on your utility bill into knowledge that you can act on. When you benchmark today, you can start saving tomorrow. So benchmarking is really, really important. We can benchmark more than energy use. We will benchmark. You can measure and track water use, waste and materials, greenhouse gas emissions. And what gets measured gets managed. You can actually manage. What you can measure, and that's in the benchmarking. One of the issues that people have talked about in benchmarking, one of the things is one of the things you have to know the square inch of your building. And just wanted to quickly share. If you can see my screen.
Yep, you can see it.
Okay, just a way to do it. Just I'll pick this one building that's like it was your congregation, and just go to Google's map. And this is one thing we'll actually show you. Go to Google's map, and you can. And when you go to Google's map, you can left click on your mouse, and it'll let you. They have a measuring tool. You can measure the distance. Excuse me. You can measure the distance. Get that out of the way. I got something in the way here. Well, so we'll do it that way then. And you can see that measuring the distance, it'll actually give you the it'll give you the square footage. I'll do it again real quickly, and it'll give you the square footage right away, and you can actually see. So you'll know your square footage. Yeah, that thing is in the way, so I don't know. We'll do it that way. There you go. And so the square footage, you can see the square footage there was 15,883 square feet. I don't know if you can read it, so small, but that is where you can get the square footage. If this was a single one-story building, you would know the square footage. If it was two-story, you just actually double it. But this is just one of the things that you will do, and will help you do with your coaching to when you're actually doing your benchmarking. Okay. Next slide, please.
1 second, Ray.
Okay. Oh, I moved them out of the way. Well, that slide is actually going to Ray Williams, Ray Wilson from Indiana. So, Ray, why don't you tell us a little bit about benchmarking?
Okay, Ray, I will do that. Let's start with the idea that once you have gotten your congregation's approval to get part of this, become part of Thriving Faith Communities, and then you've formed a team, then one of the things you're going to want to do right away is to begin tracking your utility consumption and costs. And I'm talking about gas, electric, water, and solar if you have it. Sometimes we don't worry about the water, but I don't know about where you are, but water seems to be getting more expensive because it then affects how much you pay for sewer. So we were really starting to hone in on water. So if you haven't started this already, there's several ways you can go about it. One is sort of an onerous way. You can go to the congregation's office and start digging through paper files and look at every month and see how much electricity you use, how many gallons of water you used, etc., and how much it cost. Or what might be a better way is to get online with your utility, which means you're going to have to get your username and password for your gas, electric, and water utilities. And you can go there, and many times you can dig in a little bit and you can find 1 or 2 years of data that you can download to an Excel spreadsheet or something on your computer. A third way you can do this is you can essentially use a service and for doing this. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in a minute. So once you have this, then you want to get it so that you can look at it in form of graphs or tables so that you can communicate with people and you can see what's happening. The trick of this whole thing is to get this done on a monthly basis without fail. And many times we sometimes get, many times we'll get a volunteer in a congregation and they'll do it for a little while and then they forget or they move away or somehow or another just falls through the cracks. So this is one of the things is a trick you need to really work on, and that is figuring out how you're going to get this done on a monthly basis. So as Ray mentioned before, one of the bases of doing the benchmarking is you need to know how many square feet of buildings you have. In my case, our church really has 5 buildings. So we have, and one of them has 2 floors in it. So you have to figure out how many square feet you have. The next one is, of course, to get your gas, electric, and water costs in their units used, plus the cost. And then you'll really want to be able to do that on a per square foot basis. So once you get the data, then you can lay it against how many square feet you have, and then you can start to get some comparisons between what your congregation does and other congregations do. And if you happen to have solar at your congregation, you'll want to know how many kilowatt hours of solar you produce per month, how much you used, and how much you sent to the grid for your neighbors to use. Another thing you'll want to know along the way is what are the heating and cooling degree days at your location on an annual basis, so that you'll be able to compare one year to the next year or to a subsequent year, and you'll be able to really compare yourself to a congregation where it's warm, and so you can start to see on a BTU basis or a degree day basis how well you're doing. Ultimately, what's really important to us, since we've signed the Paris Pledge to get the carbon neutral, we need to know how many tons of carbon dioxide we're emitting every month and making sure that we are, in fact, reducing that. And one thing that we don't usually talk about as far as databasing, but what I really, really, really want to emphasize here is you want to track every action that you, your team, or your congregation does. I can't overemphasize this. You want to know what you did, what it cost, and when you did it. You will, just mark my words, a couple years from now, you're going to be, I am so happy that we kept this record of what's going on, because you'll forget when you did such and such things, and you need to know what you did and when you did it, and when is it affecting those graphs that we're talking about with your data. And then maybe somewhere along the line, you're going to be wanting to track your EPA Energy Star number, because if you get over a 75 number, then you can get certified as an Energy Star congregation. And that's our goal, is to get above 75. We have a couple of congregations that are in that category, and we'd like to have lots more. I'd like for this Thriving Faith Communities effort to generate just lots of 75 and above Energy Star congregations. So as Ray mentioned, your green team coaches are going to be able to help you get this database started. They know how to do it. They know some resources that they can direct you to. I can't tell you, I could give you wonderful examples of what people have done. One company signed up, or one congregation signed up, and we looked at their data, and they had this spike of water use that was just off the charts. And we said, what in the world happened there? And they said, I don't know. And so they went to their office manager, and yes, they paid the bill, and it was like $1,000. And they never had a water bill of $1,000. So then they found out that they had one commode somewhere in their buildings that was running all the time. And wouldn't you know, they went to the water company and said, oh, we really need to tell you about this. Is there any chance we can get some relief? And the water company, believe it or not, gave them their money back as long as they fixed the commode. So those are the kinds of things you can learn. And then with that, I'll turn it back to you, Ray.
Okay, thank you. And again, what Ray said, yeah, the coaches will actually help you through this. I know it sounds like a lot of data collecting and a lot of work, but we're going to work through this, and we're going to make it as simple as possible and coach as simple as possible. So this is going to work for everybody that wants to be part of the program. So after, the other thing that we talked about after the benchmarking, and we're going to implement an action plan. Your coach will be they'll support you in the program or what you want to do in your congregation and come up with an action plan. You will set a plan. The plan might say, like you said, we want to set up an energy audit. We're going to look into utility rebates. And there's a lot of utility rebates in your area that we'll have to plug you into that can actually save you money. If there was one congregation that I work with, we got the electric utility to come out there and look at their lighting. And the electric company actually came in and did about $1,200 worth of replacing the lighting in the area, and they only had to pay $60 of that $1,200. Everything else was a rebate. So those are a lot of those rebates are available to you. We're going to look into those. We're going to talk about thermostat monitoring. One of the bigger things that we congregations, we heat or we cool the congregations all the time, and we're not there all the time. So we want to talk about monitoring the thermostats and getting them to where we can cool or heat the building just when we need to. Another thing about searching for sacred air, that's winterizing. We're going to find out where we're losing air, or losing warm air, losing warm air in the winter or cool air in the summer. So we're going to look around. That could be some of your action plans. Looking into solar could be one of your action plans. Looking into new lighting. And one of the things, we talk about, earn recognition of your building. As Ray said, as we go through this, we're going to try to move people up to that 75 score for the Energy Star. So that's just some of the things that we can support to you. And then, you can go into energy audits. And what an energy audit is, it's a walkthrough analysis by ASHRAE, which is the American Society of Heating and Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineers. That is their standard. The level 1 audit is just a basic level audit designed to give businesses a starting point for managing changes in further in-depth in auditing. In the audit, the auditor will take a high level view of your building, and they'll interview the key operations people in the area. We'll review all utility bills, take a site through the building, and look at things that could be adjusted in the building. I mean, the goal of the level 1 energy audit is to identify glaring areas in energy efficiency. All the data that is taken is compiled in the report, detailing these low-cost changes that could be made to the building, as well as other potential capital improvements we can have to the building. And then you can do from a level 1 energy audit, you can actually go to a level 2 energy audit, which is everything that's in the level 1, but it provides more data, and it helps you justify the implementation of major projects that you want to take into your building. So we do support level 1 energy audits and sometimes level 2 energy audits in the program. So that's one of the things that will be looked at in the program. And next, please. And we want to celebrate. We want to celebrate not just when you have actually gone all the way through your benchmarking and goal settings and taking action. We want to celebrate all the time that we're doing this. You're going to find just little ways to celebrate this project, make this whole journey enjoyable for everybody. So we're going to celebrate every chance that we can through this program. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, and then we are going to, once you come through everything that's in your action plan, we're going to access, so what do we want to do now? We're not done. We might want to start the process over again with new goals, or you might want to come in, and Faith in Place has a myriad of other programs. You want to now move to another program at Faith in Place for a minute while you've done that. But we're not done yet. We're going to assess. There are lots of things we can do to reduce the energy and the other, other Faith in Place programs that you may not have known about going forward. So next, please. And examples of projects, as we talked about, we can conduct the energy audit. And this is one of the energy audits, level 1. This is level 1 and level 2. Weatherproofing your building, looking for sacred air, managing the thermostat. We talked about that. Installing heat pumps. Heat pumps are kind of new now. We will bring experts in there to explain to you what a heat pump is and when you can use it and when you can install it. That's some of the new things about this, and a lot of people are really enjoying the use of heat pumps. The people have installed them. We'll talk about solar. We'll help you look at solar, and there are some solar incentives in some of the particular areas, and we'll help you join those incentives if they're in your particular area. So there are these are just some of the energy products that you can perform at your house of worship. Next, please. Elena?
Yep. Thanks, Ray Bell and Ray Wilson. All right, so I'm going to share a few more kind of practical next steps, and then we'll ask you to prioritize some of your interest, and we'll have time for Q&A. So two key FAQs that we thought would be important to share is one, the question of what is the cost of this program? So the program is free for you to sign up and be coached by Faith in Place and connected to experts. All of that piece is free. And additionally, Faith in Place will work with you to try to find cost-saving measures. We have different relationships with energy auditors. We have experts that are trying to help our houses of worship navigate the rebates and the incentive options. So while we can't, guarantee cost savings for the actual energy projects you do, we will work with you to find what is available in your area depending on the project. And as those are so specific to you, your house of worship, your location, that's why the coaching team is really important, because they can provide that one-on-one support and connection with experts to help find cost-saving options. And then what's the time commitment for participating in the program? So once you sign up, we basically try to provide enough support that you are able to achieve your goals and feel really supported as you're implementing your action plan. So our coaching team, your Green Team coach, would have a monthly call or email to check in. You can use that time to, update any energy bills, enter energy information and ask questions, say hey, we have this hiccup or this question. Can you help me find expert resources? Your coach will be checking in every month to see how the Faith in Place community can really support you in achieving the goals that y'all have set. And then the time commitment that is just involved with whatever project you pick. If you're doing, solar installation, that would take a lot longer than maybe changing your light bulbs. So that part is just dependent on your goals. And then our quarterly meeting we'll be hosting, once a quarter. That'll be an hour and a half. And anyone on your green team would be invited and welcome to attend. And again, that will be a way for you to network with other houses of worship doing similar projects, and troubleshoot, brainstorm, and then also hear from experts. And we would share which expert is going to be speaking at that particular quarterly meeting ahead of time, so you can see if that is a type of information that would be helpful for you and your project. So we try to keep it supportive, but not too burdensome, and that we'll check in. We can do deep dives as needed, but there's not a significant time commitment, and the cost would be nothing from Faith in Place and just whatever the actual project cost on the house of worship side, which we will try to find resources to offset and minimize. Okay, so with those FAQs, I'll share this now, but additionally, this information, we're going to email it out afterwards with the recording. And I'm also, I linked right just a second ago in the chat. There's a link that includes these two links and the information that I'm sharing. If you want to pull that up, feel free to just click on that and you'll be able to access this after our meeting ends. But if you want to sign up, I'll just share briefly. It's easy. There's just 2 steps. And if you are already a green team, there's only 1 step. So if you don't have a green team, the first step would be completing the green team application. And this is important because the green team application is what helps our green team director, Cindy, who's on the call, pair your house of worship with a coach. So by completing that application, you will be assigned a coach, and that coach will be who's your point person supporting you and providing that personalized support. So that's the first step. And if you were a part of the first or second cohort of the Thriving Faith Community's original program, you are more than welcome. We would love to have you continue on in the program, and you won't need to sign up for the program itself. So you can skip the next step I'm going to go to. But if you don't have a green team already, we do ask that you sign up to create a green team, because that will again pair you with the coach. So it's an important step. And then on the application itself, there's a question that says, are you a TFC cohort member? And you can just click yes, so we know that you are joining us from the previous program. And I see a question from Connie. Yes, all of the links that I am sharing will be sent in an email. So you'll have those as well as the recording. Okay, so that's step 1, making sure you have a green team. Step 2 is you have a green team. What do you do next? And there is a very short, it's much shorter than the green team application, application that basically just lets us know that your green team wants to be a part of the Thriving Faith Community program. And there's a spot where you can include your name and email, and then the emails of any members of your green team that should receive this information. And basically that application just lets us know that your green team coach should help you support you create an action plan related to energy goals, and will also let our comms team know to give you access to the resource bank and get you added to those quarterly invites. So it's a short application mainly so we can make sure you get access to all the resources that you need. And I just linked the Thriving Faith Community's website page that we have, and that includes information that I'm sharing as well as the Thriving Faith Community's application. I should say form. It's short. It's not a full application. All right. So what I would love to do now is just pause for maybe 2 minutes let me put in the chat. We have some kind of typical areas of interest that houses of worship often have. And let me pull this up here. Okay. If you can just click on the link or scan the QR code, well, I'm covering it up, apologies. And what you'll see is there's 6 options here, and we're trying to prioritize the experts that we bring in for the cohort meetings and what we focus on ensuring there's lots of resources for in the resource bank. So if you're able to just help us by prioritizing what's most important to you, all you do is you can just drag, like if energy audit is most important, you click that, and then you can click the second option, like how to collect energy data that is second important. So if you can just help us by prioritizing what's of interest to you, what we'll do is we'll use that information to decide the order of experts that we invite. So I'm just going to pause for a second and let you pull that up. And even if you aren't obviously a green team or a member of the program, you're more than welcome to respond so we can get a sense of what our community is interested in. So I'll give y'all a moment to respond, and this link will be available after the meeting, and we'll email it out as well.
And Elena, make sure they remember that the poll is also, you can click on it in the chat too if you don't know how to use the QR code. So the link is in the chat.
Thank you. Yep. The link after I said interest poll and then pasted the link. It's the last link in the chat if you want to click on it. I should share it. The next link I'm going to share is you can type in anything that's of interest to you, in case one of the things that your house of worship is interested in isn't on that priority list. I see a couple coming in through the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and chat. There's a link there. It opens a single text box. I'll show you here. So if there's any additional interests that weren't in the priority list, you can just type it here and send it, and that way we can aggregate all of this information together and really tailor the experts to what you need. So feel free to share any additional interests in this. You can just type it here and click send. Just said if you have any additional topics that you'd like to add, you can click on the link in the chat, scan the QR code, and just submit them there. And again, we'll send out these links afterwards. So if it's too much with the Zoom window up, totally understand. You'll be able to click on that in the follow-up. All right, feel free to keep working on that. I'm just going to transition now to Q&A and see if there's any questions from the audience before we close out. And either Ray Bell, Ray Wilson, or myself will try to answer. Oh, great question. William asked, is there a deadline to sign up? No. When you sign up there, that'll be our cue to have your coach work with you, starting from that point. So the timeline cycle is just when you and your house of worship are ready, you can fill out the Thriving Faith Communities interest form, and your coach will be able to start working with you on your energy goals. And then when you wrap up that energy project, you can decide, do you want to start on a new energy project, or Faith in Place has lots of different program areas. Is there a different area of interest? So you will be able to kind of go on a rolling basis based off what your community is interested in.
I see a question that says the solar panels are not an option. Is community solar the way to go? And I guess we'll actually have to see which solar is available in your area and look at your congregation and see. And if solar panels are not an option for that for a number of reasons, then yeah, community solar is a good way to go. So we can actually coach you through that scenario also for your house of worship.
Great. And Ginny asked, Ray W. mentioned a service for analyzing utility use. Can you say more about that? And yes, there's a free service called a Portfolio Manager through Energy Star. There's some commercial, or there's some cities now that are requiring commercial spaces to utilize it. So basically that will allow you to see all of your utility data in one spot. And the Faith in Place team will make that updating process as streamlined as possible. So once you sign up, you'll be able to, your coach will kind of walk you through how to collect the information you need on your end, and then we'll work with you to set up the profile and show you like how to update that with monthly information. It's pretty easy once it's set up. So and it allows you to see like graphs over time and pull reports pretty easily. So it's a really great tool and kind of the standard that lots of commercial spaces are using. And yeah, so we'll provide kind of detailed support for the actual, getting into that system. And then Rick said advocacy relationship with the FAP Action Fund. Yeah, so I'll say, so this program falls under our climate change and energy program. And let me stop sharing my screen while I'm talking so I can see everyone. So this falls under our energy and climate change program. And so the advocacy piece falls under our advocacy program, and our whole team kind of works hand in hand with both. I know someone mentioned community solar, and I think Christina G is on the call and very passionate about community solar in Indiana. I don't mean to speak for her, but we have basically our team is using both prongs to support both on the individual level and the community level and the federal level. And sorry, Anne, I missed when you said, can you put that in the chat? I missed what I was talking about. Feel free to speak up. And if there's other questions, feel free to share. Oh, how to access Energy Star. Yeah. Let me they have a great page for congregations. So just give me 1 second and I'll pull that up.
While she's pulling it up, I just want to say we really are looking forward to working with everyone that wants to join the program. It's going to be exciting. We're going to learn a lot together, and it's going to be wonderful. Just looking forward to working with most of you guys.
I'm linking.
Most of you all.
Thanks,
I'll jump in on the chat from Hannah. Now, my congregation has been doing this for a number of years, but
why don't you read the question, Ray? So,
let's see if I find that again here.
It says, do you have any data on average cost savings, energy, or use reduction that we could use to get our congregation on board?
Right. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is this is a result of a lot of work, but we have reduced our energy consumption by about 45%. And we have reduced our carbon dioxide emissions by 65%. And we save we're a rather sort of a moderate sized congregation. We save about $11,000 or $12,000 a year in our utility bills.
That's awesome. And I'll just share the link that I put in the chat. They also have like case studies and ways to frame energy savings at congregations. Our coaches will also be able to help you kind of create a pitch specific to your house of worship if you're trying to get your house of worship leadership on board.
I'm going to jump in and say one more thing that we found. Getting our energy data and keeping it up to date is a trial, and there is an organization called Energy Stewards that does that for you, but they do charge a fee for it. And what I find with using Energy Stewards, they're very helpful is getting the data in, and it's a little bit easier front end as far as what you see than Portfolio Manager. It is the same data that Portfolio Manager uses, so either way you go, you're going to get the same results.
Great. Any other questions before we wrap up? All right. Let me just share my screen one more time. Some final next steps.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if this program feels like it would be a good fit for your house of worship, or even if you just want to have a conversation to learn a little bit more, we'll provide Ray and myself our contact information in the follow-up email. So if you have like more particular questions that this is too big of a group to kind of talk through, feel free to reach out, and we're happy to work with you to see, if it's a good fit for your house of worship. But if you feel like you're confident, I'm ready to take the first step. We'll have the sign up form again. If you're already Green Team, it's a short application. And if you don't have a Green Team yet, the first step would be creating a Green Team. And then our next quarterly meeting will be January 24th. And so based on the results of the prioritization survey and the additional interests that were shared in the chat and in the other little poll, we will invite experts to come. And also, as you're working with your coaches, just so you know, like our staff internally will have a chat communication about what houses of worship are meeting. So if you have needs arise throughout, we'll have coaches be able to share that, and we can also tailor our quarterly meetings to things that come up as you kind of get a little bit deeper into the projects that you're working on. So when you sign up, you'll be automatically added to the invites for those quarterly meetings. You'll be given access to the resource bank, which includes lots of resources like the Energy Star link I just shared. We have a whole workbook based off Faith in Place collaborated with Energy Star to create a congregational action plan handbook. So lots of resources like that will be available to you. And then, as I shared before, we will have the recording of this, the slides, and then any links shared. We'll be sending that out by email next week, and so you can share it as needed. And if there's a challenge to get from you're really excited, but maybe your house of worship isn't on board yet, or the first step is creating a Green Team. Our Green Team director, Cindy, I think Cindy's on, is great at wooing houses of worship to create Green Teams. So you're also welcome to reach out and just share hey, I'm super interested, but I'm not sure kind of the next step. in getting the green team created, we'd be happy to help with that too. So either way, we'll include all of our contact information in the follow-up email. So you're more than welcome to reach out with whatever situation you're in. And we are happy to help. So
Elena,
that's it. Yeah, go ahead.
can I, with your introduction of me and my volunteering efforts and helping to start this program, I just want to say to everyone, I have found this to be the passion of my life at this point, and I am so happy that a number of you are signed up. We're talking about 3 states here now working on this, and the potential is dramatic if you really start thinking about how many congregations there are in our 3 states, and if we can get a good number of us to really start doing this and making it known to others, what's not to like, and we can get lots of people to join in. And Elena said she and Ray Bell are available. I'm available too, so you can go through them or you can get in touch with me. This is what I do for a living at this point, is help congregations do this work. So please join up. We really, it's exciting, it's fun, and very rewarding. Thank you very much for participating. And Elena, thank you for letting me be on here.
Of course, right? None of us would be here without you. So I'll include all of our information and in the follow-up email. Feel free to reach out. And if there are no more questions, I wish everyone a beautiful evening. And thank you so much for being here with us. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.